Hello, good evening and welcome. Welcome to Rangers Radio. We'll join myself upstairs on the show tonight. It's my mate Bridgeman and my big mucker Southside. How we doing, boys?
Hi, good evening, mate. Good evening to yourself. And good evening to Bridgeman.
Can I just say a huge good evening to you two guys on the panel here? Massive good evening to the boys in the lobby and to all the Rangers fans that are listening in all over the world. I'm over the bitterness now. I'm over it. Good evening. Welcome to Rangers Radio.
Ah, dear. Well, I'm no. But how are you, Southside, mate?
I'm getting there, mate. I was still a bit depressed for Sunday, but I'm getting there now, I suppose.
Here's your take on it, mate. We've no heard for you, so you might as well get it off your chest.
I thought it was an average team, mate. It worked hard. Came up for the fight. They worked hard to get stuck in. Easy shot is done. But we shouldn't be getting beat with St Johnstone, mate. It was very disappointing. They showed more fight in the game. If we took a couple of chances, would have probably been out of sight, but we didn't. So on that, I'm majorly disappointed. It was a trophy, mate, that we should have been going on to win. The league's won. That was the objective. Don't get me wrong. Every Rangers fan out there knows that was the objective. But we've got a trophy room in there. It's loaded with trophies, and you don't get that many by being second. So really disappointed that we didn't go and mate and get into the semi-final and progress to win that trophy. That was my take on it. They had a bit of luck as well, mate. And if I'm honest, when they scored right at the death, the gut feeling was I thought it's just not going to be our day, and it proved not to be. But it should have been, mate. So for there, I'm bitterly disappointed, really, on the outcome.
I think you've summed it up nicely there, mate. Look, I've got a question for you two boys, and I've no spoke to you about it, Bridge. It's no a loaded question. It's no pre-rehearsed because we've stopped sending you the script, Bridge, because you're too big a star for this new one here. You know, but
what a shocker.
You know what I mean? He's the only man. He's got an agent in the IPL. He's got an agent in the IPL. He's got an agent on Sky. You know,
man's a legend.
Oh, he's a legend.
Wow, what a man. What a man.
Right, so, look, I want you to sum up. I mean, obviously, there's a generation between the two years, yeah? You know, there's a generation between you. And I'm not saying who's the oldest because it wouldn't be fair. Right, and what I'll ask you is, what is this season meant to use to, and your peers, your mates, maybe not so much your family, I wouldn't expect you to say that, but what's it meant to you, and what was your expectations? Southside.
Well, it means the world, mate, now. I mean, to think back to what happened in 2012, obviously, and to get through all that period of time that we all know, having to get down the leagues and come back up, follow the team, hoped that one day we would get back to the league. So for me, to win it this year, especially, to get to 55, it was everything, mate, for the disappointment for the season before, when I really thought that we had a team that was capable of going on and sinking them at that point, and it didn't happen. And then you see the difference in the team this season and the form. They would have been so consistent. For me, mate, just to get it this year, because I thought it could have been a while, mate. If we didn't get it this year, to be honest, it could have been, we went another year and then we don't know, but it could have been another season. Gerrard might not have been here. People might have got impatient. We don't know. So to get it this year, it meant the world to me, mate. Honestly, to see it stops the gloating and everything that I've had to take over the years, the wee sniggers and them walking about with their taps on. I hardly see anyone with their taps on now. That's the one thing you don't see. Or his Tardelli taps have disappeared. But it makes me proud, mate, of my team, and proud of the board and the way they stopped by the manager and supplied them with the money for the thieves and the charlatans that were in our club, and to get rid of them and get real people at the helm, true Rangers supporters on the board. And everything's coming into place, and you can see how our club's growing now. Sponsors coming in, everything's rosy now, everything's looking up. And the only two disappointments for me has just been the 2 cup ties this year. So the league was the most important thing for me, mate, and every Rangers supporter out there. And we done it. You know, we done it.
Yeah, can I just say 100% agree with you?
Well said. By the way, that was like Churchill speaking there, Bridge, wasn't it?
It was indeed. It was very, very, very well said.
The Churchill
well
off the advert, the dog, but
I mean, the nodding dog. No, it was well done, and I agree with everything you said. Slightly different insofar as what it means to me. What it means to me is that we've seen a resurgence of the Rangers, not just in the football side, but as a club, and that's still going. And it might take another length of time to get us really up there financially. That is, our manager that we brought in, that was a master turn, sorry, by our board, getting him in, getting Mr. Gerrard in. We need to do now, from a board perspective, is persuade him to stay, because based on the way he was speaking after the game the other night, I think he was a bit down, and I hope hopefully the board are going to invite him in, give him a cup of tea, and perk him up a bit, because we don't want him to be gloating or anything like that. No gloating, glum, right? I don't want him to be glum. We want him to be on top, on his toes, and be up for every game. That's what we want from him, and he'll get everybody else going. That's what we need. But I'm really, it's meant the world. It's meant the world to me.
Yes, mate.
It feels to me, it feels like closure for me to a point from what they've done to us, put us down the leagues, and we followed the club home and away. And to win the league now, it's closure for me, and that journey's complete. Mm-hmm. And this to me feels like it's a new era now going forward. Never going to forget what they've done, no, never. No, but to me, now we've won the league because they put us down there in the hope that we wouldn't come back. They try to kill us off, basically. We know that, but to put us down the leagues and then get back, and it took us a few seasons, but we've done it this year, and now we're getting into our celebrations the following year. So to me, that chapter is closed, as in now I'm looking now to everything that we can achieve going forward now. That's just what I think to myself personally.
All right, that's a good way of putting it. Closure. I get that. And if I've got to be honest, Bridge, we can recognise that for here. I mean, we've walked the journey as me as a host and you as a megastar. But we've walked that journey, and and we've had people on here. We've had people genuinely upset, Bridge. Genuinely upset. The emotions at times been raw.
Well, you know yourself, and the South Side knows. It's a very emotional game, the game, the football in general in itself. But when you're supporting a team like the Rangers, it means the world to you. And every result means something, And okay, sometimes you can rise above it and you say, well, we were rotten and that's all there is to it. But, we got them down. The football goes up and down, and some teams rise a wee bit and beat you and so on and so forth and take over. But what happened to us in about 2011 is when in the administration, just shocking. In 2012, when put out, and then all of a sudden, all the people that didn't want us put them down, so they put us down, and we ended up in the bottom leagues. And I found it quite hilarious. And I always remember Ian from Rangers Chat saying they never even lasted 9 months. And they couldn't last without Rangers for 9 months. They reorganised the leagues to get the money for the Rangers. Because Rangers were filling wee grounds and television cameras were wanting to be in there, all this other stuff happening, They never had that. They had no atmosphere at all in the Premier League. No atmosphere. Anyway, so I'm blasting. Sorry about that.
Remember, it was quite entertaining. The Sellout Saturday. Remember that one?
It was a joke, wasn't it?
South Side, you remember that?
Aye, that was, we'll fill our grun every week. We don't need Rangers, It was a joke. They couldn't even get a Sky deal without us, Don't get me wrong, going to the grounds and that, I mean, it was a journey, believe me, it was a journey. Some of the grounds, they weren't exactly probably the safest at times you thought you were in, but they were ram-packed, and the towns that we went to, the people in the pubs and clubs and that, they welcomed us with open arms, and we spent a few quid, and it was like £10 and £15 to get into a game at that time as well, which was always a bonus, But I enjoyed it. But I feel now it's closure for me now. We've got this league and that's me closed that chapter. Now I'm looking for a new chapter in the Rangers history going forward and shut that door. But never forget, obviously never ever forget, you know.
But you know, guys, I have to say to you, maybe it's just my age, but I'm waiting to get it presented before I'm 100%. Just something in the back of my mind says something's going to happen here, you know. Now I know, of course, we won the league by a long way, by a long way.
Change your medication.
I know, but seriously, that's just the way I feel. I want to see the final act. There'll
be no helicopter changing direction, that's for sure.
No. Look, I want to see the league championship. I want to see the photos or the TVs, showing our captain picking the league cup up, the league championship, should I say? No, that's all I want.
All right. So obviously we'll put that question out to the people and they'll call and we'll have a chat and see what it takes for you. So let's hear from you. Oh, Fox must be away. So I get the emotion. I get the emotion. I get the closure of their journey. I think that's a very good way of putting it. And other people have took to it and suffered with it worse than us, haven't they? I mean, the reaction's been just unbelievable. Dave King's been proved to be correct. Once again, let's hear from him. No? Okay. Don't know the boys.
Why don't you give us a call on 0141 356 1972. It's your show. It's your platform. Let's hear from you.
All right. Right away. We've been joined by Big Man. It was on last night. Big Man, have you got some news for us, Big Stevie?
I certainly have, Oxter. I'd like to say hello to Bridges Southside while I'm on. All right, lads.
Hey, Stevie, how you doing?
All right, boys. Listen, I find myself here again. Want to thank Rangers Radio once again, lads. We get badges made with the Rangers Radio crest with the phone number 0141 356 1972 on the badges. On behalf of the Robert Mulholland Memorial Parade. We're hoping to have the parade the second half of this season, the latter stages of the year, with things getting back to normal, guys. So I'm just going to thank Rangers Radio for allowing us to use their crest. Every penny's gone towards the wee boy died in Ibrox disaster, and I can't thank the team, the whole team, all the pundits, all the background, everybody that takes in today, and all the listeners all over the world that listen to Rangers Radio. We've got wee badges here with the Rangers Radio crest. And it's all gone to the wee boy that died in Ibrox disaster, young Robert Mulholland. We have a parade every year for him.
Right, just for people who's maybe tuned in for the first time, Stevie, give us a wee background to Robert, just quickly.
Well, what had actually happened is a boy, Joe Burke, he left the armed services. They wanted to do something. He's a drum chapel boy, and he wanted to do something for the young boy for drum chapel that died in Ibrox disaster. And Joe done all the background work, get in contact with the family, and basically done all the dirty work, get his hands dirty and got it up and running. And Joe handed the baton to myself. I got in contact with Joe and I says, Joe, I run the band. I'd love to go up there and do a wee parade for that boy. With being a bear myself, Rangers, I could relate to that. And when being a drum chapel boy far away from where I live, I said I'd be tickled pink, and Joe handed the a certain standard and everything else, and he was absolutely delighted to say that it's your baby now, big man, you deal with that. And that's just how it unfolded, and that's it. So,
how much are the badges? How much are they?
Met people at the game and dished them out. Asked for a penny off of any Rangers or nothing. They just want my club to do well, and the stuff that you have done for this boy and the people in the Ibrox disaster is absolutely amazing, the charity work.
All right, so all the money for that is going to go to help subsidise, and I use the word subsidise, the parade, because obviously it's the expenses. You need license, you need to pay for a hall, you need to pay for marshalling, and all these things have to be paid for. DJ,
band, food,
everything's got to be paid for it.
Aye, reefs. Obviously, we'll let reefs twice a year, Oxter, you know. Well, we're up there twice this year, even though there was no parade for the boy, you know. We still went up, and we actually went up with the one in Faithfully as well. We gave one of our boys in the association a reef to lay for the two lads that died for Faithfully as well, you know. So we're kind of keeping our own area, you know, just we look after them, you know. And again, a couple of people I'd like to thank. The boy Stevie that runs the association, he's done great, mate. The baton's kind of onto him now to take us up there now, you know, and he knows all about it. And I think he's listening in the night. But thanks a lot, Stevie, if you're listening. And thanks a lot, Rangers Radio.
All right, a pleasure, mate. And obviously we hope to sell how many badges? 300?
Well, I think roughly 300. I say roughly because I've not got them yet, and when they come from places, I like to count them.
Right, okay.
300 badges.
Okay, I'm working on a deal. If you buy a badge, you get a free slush puppy, but I'm working on that, yeah?
Is that a vodka slush? Because we could all be doing one with that performance.
Stevie, I'll give you a message, mate. All right, tomorrow, and I'll sort something out with the badges for you, pal. I'll take some, and Bridge assured me that anything extra that you want me to take, mate, he'll cover the cost.
Bridge just fell off his chair.
I did as well. You stop putting me up for things.
Stevie, how do people purchase them then? How do they get in contact with you? How do they purchase
them? Get me through my Facebook or anybody that knows me. I know a lot of the boys on Rangers Radio, you know. Anybody wants them, they know how to get in contact with me, or even, you know, if they contact somebody like yourself that you know and you can pass it on, you know.
Okay. Just to let you know, in this call already, Mr. Fox has took out, so he's purchased 6 already, and All School Boys took 4, so that's 10 gone already, mate.
That's absolutely brilliant. As I said, you know, many hands make light work, guys, you know, and every penny, I can assure you, goes towards this wee parade. As I said, it's no greater honour to go up there and lay a reef for a 16-year-old boy, Bear, that went to a football match and never came home, you know. It's absolute tragedy, isn't it?
Yeah. Bridgeman, I know you're a Drumchapel boy, and that was your era, mate, so something quite close to your heart, mate.
Oh, very much so. Very much so. Big Stevie knows that. It was tragedy. So,
but Jimmy, DFK was at the last one.
I'd love to see us play at Wembley, and I don't know if it was obviously a day that if all the bears could turn up, you could have maybe 30, 40, 50,000 bears there. And maybe more, you know what we're like when we decide for that.
You know, do you see that happening?
I don't know. Obviously, they were there for a tournament. Spurs had a tournament there, didn't they? Or the Wembley tournament, Spurs were in it. I think they actually won it, didn't they? They never won again, but they won it. And I think there was about 5 of them turned up. So obviously, we would take a bit better than that. You know what I mean? You know, when were you, Bridge?
I think I've always wanted to go down and see, go to Manchester United Stadium, Old Trafford. Right. And that's for when I was only a wee kid. The plane disaster was a huge, probably the biggest story I'd ever heard. And they were putting shows on, and the songs were singing. They were saying Manchester United, just fantastic stuff, just to build it up again, you know. And the story about Matt Busby, for a young lad, you know, my goodness gracious, I think I was only 11 or something, you know. So was it 58, wasn't it? 1958, I think it was. So I was only 11. My God Almighty! And I remember Matt Busby in the oxygen. First time I'd ever heard the term. He's in an oxygen tent, and you had to feel for all these players and the guys who lost their lives.
I get it. I've been there. I know Southside's been. I've been there a few times. I've also been to Wembley a few times. But I would love to see Rangers there. We've been joined by Kim. Evening, Kim. How are we doing?
Yeah, I'm good, thanks, you.
Aye, brilliant. Good to hear for you. How's things?
Yeah, okay, thanks. I was really just wanting to go on what the call of the game before. You know, all the way down from the third division. We're back at the top. We've got our 55. Okay, St Johnstone they played better than us, and they they didn't deserve to get beat, but you know.
We weren't great. We have to take one medicine. Yeah.
And it's just all the negativity that have come from Rangers supporters, that have come from them, that have come from other people. And I just think it's, you know, we've come this far. The team's still trying to gel together. We've still got a couple of young players and players that haven't experienced Champions League or this kind of flight of football. And we just need to give them that wee bit extra time.
I was talking to Port Bear earlier on this evening, and he's big into social media. I think Grindr, I think, is his favourite site, but that's another story, right? But right, and he was saying that some of the stuff he's read on there has been absolutely vile. But what you've got to remember, Kim, that no everything you read online for so-called Rangers supporters is Rangers support, you know. But this people turning on the manager, I think the manager got a lot of things wrong. But hindsight's a wonderful thing.
Absolutely. This is Steve G's first managerial
position. Aye. Yeah, listen, if I would have said to you in August, and I'll take this to the other two on the panel, I'll come to you first, Kim. If I said to you in August, first and foremost, we're going to win the league. Also, we're going to qualify for the Europa League, beating Galatasaray. We'll go through the group stages undefeated, and then we would knock out the last 32 and get to the last 16 and go. Then we would get knocked out the two cups. Would you have took that?
No.
Would you have took that to win the league and have the good run in Europe?
I would have taken it, hopefully, to win the league, but I don't think, with the team that we've had so far, I don't think I would have taken it if we would have gone so far in Europe.
Right, okay.
I'm actually astounded that we got that far.
All right, okay, aye. Southside.
I think at the start of the season, Kim, the league was the main priority, right? Everything else, to get into the group stages, was a priority for the club. Obviously, we want to put ourselves back on the map in Europe, and we've done pretty well in Europe. He done well again this season to where we got to. But the league was the main priority. I'm more just disappointed on Sunday's performance because it felt like we got overrun a wee bit, harder worked. But they get luck, you know. And in a cup competition, it's if you don't play well on the day and it goes to penalties, you can get dumped out. And that's basically what happened to us. But we should have been better, and we should have been winning that cup, or at least getting to the final to give us a chance of winning it. But we haven't. So if everybody looks at the bigger picture, we'll be disappointed that we probably didn't pick up a treble. But there's nobody out there. We can all say in our hearts we'd love Rangers to win the treble before the start of the season. Yeah. But we knew deep down, cups are bonuses. I've always said that. Anybody can win a cup. But the league was the main priority, and we should have made the Scottish Cup final. So I'm not going to be too critical, because the main object was to win the league. It's just disappointing, that's the way I see it, that we didn't fulfil a double.
Oh no, of course, but you know, it's a kind of like a bittersweet Sunday was a bittersweet moment for everybody. Especially the younger supporters. You know, my wee boy's 6, and I scared the living daylights out of him when it's been confirmed we've got the 55. He was sat quite peaceful on his iPad, and I was sat chewing my fingers on tenterhooks, waiting for the final announcement to come. And that's it. My phone went up in the air, the laptop went up in the air, and I was jumping about the living room like a loony. And he just couldn't understand why Mummy was so happy. Explaining to him, and then sitting watching the match on Sunday, we got beat on penalties, and I was howling.
And how Mummy was so upset. Yeah, that's what Rangers Day is. Bridgeman, what's your views on the season as a whole, would you have took that collective at the start?
Yeah, absolutely. The league was the highest priority you could ever give a priority. I still feel in my heart, we were, shall we say, we could have gone on, much like Southside saying, we could have gone on and possibly won a double or a treble even. But bad luck against St Mirren, if we want to call it that, and I'm being nice, and the same against St Johnstone. Bad luck. So that's all we can say about that. But most assuredly, huge for us. And I don't care what anybody says, that was a fabulous result, us getting that league. And I'll be quite happy when I see our captain lifting the trophy up. Very happy. And I'm a delighted Rangers fan, delighted.
I think I'll cry when we get lifted the title, when we get lifted the cup.
It'll be an emotional day. Cam Bridges offered to put a few quid behind the bar, so we'll be taking advantage of that, and that will be a big emotional day for us, Southside. Brendan Bridges.
Right. Certainly will. I think the one thing that I'm looking forward to is the fact that James Tavernier is a guy that's going up to lift the trophy. He deserves to lift that trophy since he's came to our club. He's had the hard times like the rest of us coming through, and now that he's still here under Stevie G, and the contribution that he's made to us this season, take away his penalty misses and that, but his contribution overall, and he deserves, for me, it might even give me a wee tear in my eye to see him lift it, because he deserves to lift that trophy, you know, and that's the thing I'm looking forward to, that James Tavernier will lift that trophy for us.
Here.
Yeah, that'd be brilliant. It's going to be some weekend.
Yeah, well, and hopefully people will be able to celebrate, and even more restrictions will be lifted by then, and more people will be able to get together again and enjoy it, Kim. You know?
Absolutely.
Has your wee boy showed any interest in the football?
Yeah, a wee bit, but he's more interested in getting my phone off me.
So he can play games?
Yeah.
All right, okay, that seems to be the modern trend, Southside.
Oh, I know.
Aye, that's what the winds are into, either phones or computers, isn't it?
Aye, pads. Yeah. Oh, how things have changed. Yeah, anything else on your mind, Kim?
No, I just really wanted to kind of go on what the caller had said before, you know. Yeah, this last couple of weeks, these last few games have really been kind of poor, but we've come from the bottom all the way back up. We've won the league, we've got 55, we've done well in the Champions League. You know, rock on Sunday. I can't wait.
Aye. Couldn't have put it in as Bridgeman. Couldn't have put it any better myself.
No, absolutely right. 100%. I just can't wait. I'm just look. This is a huge game coming up at the weekend. I don't want anything to overshadow that. I want us to walk onto the park, heads held high, and just do them. And that's what I want. And then how many games we got after that? 2?
Yeah, two games.
We're playing at Hibs. We don't play Hibs anymore.
No, so Livingston away then Aberdeen.
Livingston away and Aberdeen, right? Okay.
You know.
And then it's a big presentation.
Yes, after the match there'll be fireworks, and
there'll be thousands of fireworks.
I think you're going to find there's going to be a huge amount of people making the journey to Ibrox anyway, because they're out. They'll be out in the street, you know.
But my son's birthday party on the 16th, so I can't, because I'd end up making a weekend of it in Glasgow somehow.
I like the sound of that, Kim. I like the sound of that.
Well, there's always...
You know, but look, it's been a great season overall. Yeah, we were disappointed Sunday. Yeah, we never played well. Yeah, we could have won the match, but we never. So it's not the first time we've lost a game of football, so we need to move on, regroup, and maybe, here's one for you, Southside, could it have been a blessing in disguise? Because maybe the manager might go, right, okay, I have to make my mind up about some players. Are they good enough?
I I think any good manager and backroom team will assess the players. I mean, to be honest, right, it's mission accomplished, the league title. Then he obviously says to them, right, after Europe, priority is the Scottish Cup. And as a Rangers player and as a club, that should be your priority, you know. So he's probably going to look at some of the players, because when you're winning and successful, you might think people might get above their station, think they're better than what they are, or maybe get a wee bit of attitude about them. Same in defeat, he looks at players. So possibly, Ox, that he'll have a wee look at the players that are going forward. Obviously, he's got a nucleus that he wants to keep, but he'll have a wee look at their attitude, obviously, as well, and the way that we've been playing lately. But I don't want to be too critical, to be honest. I am still angry. I'm not kidding on here. I'm still angry, and I'm really disappointed, because we should have been in that Scottish Cup final and winning it. But it is mission accomplished as far as the league went. And I think back as well to the playoffs and the times trying to come up through the league at Fir Park when we're getting stuffed with a Motherwell team. And Stuart McCall was our manager, and we had to do another season in that championship and that. So, the mission was win the league. Cups are bonuses. So, for me, the season is complete now. I'm still a bit annoyed, but it was about winning the league, mate, to be honest. It was about winning the league.
And that's done. We've done it in record time.
Unfortunately, that record time. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt. Sorry, Paul.
No, on you go, Bridge. Sorry, on you go.
I was going to say that record time may, in fact, was a slight negative on our players going forward. Maybe too long between games. Remember, we won the league and then we never kicked a ball for 4 weeks or something like that. Quite incredible.
By the way, just to let you know, I've had a message for Mr. S. Kipper, and he was talking about the Disasters Bridge, and he reckons that one that you remember was the Hindenburg. It wasn't the...
That's not very nice, is it, saying that? That's shocking, by the way. Hindenburg. I didn't like that one. I hated that one. Mr. S. Kipper. Brilliant. That's brilliant.
I was waiting for the I've obviously missed it.
What was that, Kim?
I'm saying I was waiting for the punchline on that one, but I've obviously missed it.
Bridge was talking earlier on about the Munich air disaster when he was a kid, and Skippers came in and said he reckons it wasn't the Munich air disaster when he was a kid. It was a Hindenburg. Yeah. Which was, when was that? 1920s, Bridge, was it?
Oh my God. Oh my God. Yeah.
Oh, he's always listening, that Skipper, isn't he?
Anyway, guys, listen, it's been great talking to you. I need to go and get this.
Cheers, Cam. You look after yourself, and thanks for all your help with Rangers Radio, yeah?
No problem. Thanks for talking to us.
Cheers.
Bye, then.
Bye.
Take care.
Bye, Kim.
Bye.
There we go. Nice to hear from Kim, huh, Bridge?
Brilliant. Absolutely, yes.
Absolutely. After the YouTube site, and obviously the lot of work today.
Aye. Are we having problems with it?
No, it was certain fans of other teams were deciding to come and pay us a visit, mate, yeah.
All right, so we got a wee visit from them. Yeah, okay.
Not one, hundreds of them.
Yeah, you know what I mean. Bombarding.
Obsessed.
Bombarding.
Obsessed.
Of course we're obsessed.
Yes.
And always were. Always were. Obsessed.
Well, come and give us a phone, give us your thoughts. Southside's put a few questions out there. We put the one out at the start of the show, what your thoughts on the season. Southside, where would you like to visit? Where would you like Rangers to visit, first and foremost? I've been racking my brains about that. I'm going to stick with Wembley, Southside. I'm going to stick with Wembley. You know?
I'm going to go for the Allianz. I want to go to the Allianz. I was in the old stadium at Munich in 89. But I'd like to see the Allianz, actually. 1860 Munich play there and all, didn't it?
Right. I've been there.
I must admit, I like
that stadium,
I was there with work, mate, yeah.
I like Nottingham Forest ground. I thought that was a smashing stadium when Cloughie was there. He got all pristine and all painted and everything. It was brilliant. I don't know what it's like now, of course.
If I'm being honest, I think the best stadium been in Britain has been Twickenham. The new
Twickenham. You said something like that, yeah. It looks a gorgeous place. It looks absolutely gorgeous.
I didn't enjoy it. I had a good day out. I didn't enjoy the sport. But I had a good day out.
I liked it. The Etihad wasn't bad when we were there for the UEFA Cup final. I thought that was quite a nice stadium.
It was alright. Just if you think Sunday was so, that was even worse, wasn't it?
But stadium. The other one that comes to my mind, because it's good, it's easy access to get into. We're going up to the stadiums. Porto's.
Right.
Porto's got a nice stadium.
Aye, good on you, mate. Aye. Have they not got a newer one? Did they not get a new one built or not? You know, I'm trying to think back. Aye, there's loads of bit. I go for Wembley, South Side, you know.
Aye.
Because of the historical. I don't think we've ever played there. Well, obviously there's no mini club side played there, is there really? Outside apart from.
No, I think this when they're getting their stadiums done, wasn't it? Tottenham or Shaw taking that. It'd be good if we could ever play there in a wee tournament or something.
All right, we've been joined by Andy for Leeds. Evening, Andrew.
Good evening, everyone. Hope everybody's okay.
Aye, we're all right, mate. We're all right, yeah.
Aye, well, get the option now. We've got to go forward, didn't we?
Oh, exactly, mate. Yeah. We'll host a game of football. No, we'll host other games of football in the future. I don't want you to upset everybody, but we will.
Oh, aye, definitely. That's the nature of the beast, isn't it? You know.
That's my holidays knackered.
just very disappointing, really. You know, the way I take it, I get the question you asked there. Yeah, it was always about the league. We said that, but I was always constant that I wanted the Scottish Cup as well. But what really disappoints me more than anything else is the fact that when won the league, Stephen Gerrard had told them that was the priority, and they couldn't get up for it. They didn't have any heart. The blessing in disguise could be the fact that if you mind the last time when we stopped there 10. We went on and won trebles, and Big Jock knew at the time that certain players had to go when we stopped him on the 10, the original 10. So it could be that, you know, that he's found out now that certain players are definitely not going to be good enough there. That's a fact whether we like it or not. To bottle it like that, I can't accept that. I was gone after the League Cup one. I thought, right, we've got a great chance again. After putting them out, we're not going to do it again. And then to put up a performance like that, you know.
We were poor, Andy. We can dress it up. We should have won the match, but we never. But in open play, we looked lethargic. We were slow. We didn't pass the ball well. They outfought us, which disappoints us. Maybe Southside made a point of bring him out. They also outran us, Southside. Yeah, they harried us out with game. And Port Bears, again, a quick call with him. To post the things on social media about the badges before the show, and he was saying that that's 3 physical teams, and then he thinks back to Aberdeen in the previous seasons and how these teams have been physical against us. St Mirren, when you think back to that game at their ground, they didn't have an answer, but they just kept battling away and were physical. Sparta Prague, or Slavia Prague, whatever they're called. What was it, Sparta Prague? I keep getting mixed up. They were physical, and then this team again they're a big side, St Johnstone, in the day of Job, and we never handled it. And I thought that was an interesting point that Port Bear made. Yeah, South Side. Then I'll go back to Andy.
Andy, I agree with what Ox is saying and yourself. I'm telling you, I'm bitterly disappointed myself, mate. You know, it's not good enough. We should be going to that Scottish Cup final and winning it. We're no kidding on here, but to me, Andy, they came, they've been playing no bad. They're an average team. We know a big threat up front. They worked hard. They shut us down. Even their subs came on, they ran about. Certainly they should have probably had less than 11 men on the park by the end of the 90 minutes. But I'm not going to go into refereeing decisions and stuff. But looking at the game, possibly they could have had a man sent off. It may have changed the game. But that aside, I just thought they worked harder. Certain your players, I mean, there was a much difference, Andy, between that performance on Sunday and the performance we watched on Wednesday with 7 changes.
No, not at all. I mean, I think we had too many mistakes there.
Aye, and it was a bit similar to that performance, and I heard Stevie G after it. He was a wee bit like, "Aye, that's out the road. It's worked for me. I know what I'm looking for at a different team on Sunday." So I thought, right, and then Sunday's performance was certainly not good enough, mate. You know, no for a Rangers team. But so aye, you're right in what you say. They deserve the criticism that they should take. I don't think we should go at the top. They're a young team. They're young boys. They've put a lot into this season with Europe and that. We blipped against St Mirren, but certainly at home against St Johnstone, a team that is sort of playing in form for their standard, we should have been putting them away. And if we took a chance or two, we probably would have. And we've been emptied out. Harsh lesson, but we can't keep happening. And the game management style, we should have seen that game out. That's what was harsh to me. Roof should have seen that game out with a throw in. I heard Tav talking about it, saying, I will need to learn. Well, I'd be saying to Tav, there's 5 or 6 games where we should have learned. Twice against St Johnstone, Benfica in Europe. And there's a couple other games that come into my head that I could pick out. So game management needs to be better. And we should have learnt it before we took the harsh lesson on Sunday, because it certainly happened before in games, mate.
Yeah, there's a common theme there, isn't there, at all? You know, and anybody physical comes on top, we just bottle it, for want of another word. That's just a fact. The statement with Tavernier, well, we've heard quite a lot of them over the 4 years.
I don't know if I would say any physical team, because we play them a lot of other times and we play them off the park. What I'm saying is there's a trend in the teams that we don't beat, mate. I don't think we can accuse this team of bottling it, mate. They're undefeated in the league and got us through all the European ties.
Aye, well, I still have another theory. You know, well, put it this way then. Some of them are definitely not. The shirt's too heavy for them. It's as simple as that. But at the end of the day, the main object was to get the league. We've done that. But as I said, my bit there.
I'll ask you the question that I asked earlier on the night, and I'm not trying to be facetious here, Andy. Yeah? If I'd have sat down with you in August and said, right, we're going to win the league with 3 games to go, we'll be undefeated because we don't know how these are going. We're going to win it by 20 points. Mm-hmm. We're going to get through the qualifying stages of Europe as well. Mm-hmm. We're going to get through the group stages undefeated. We're then going to knock out the next team, and then we'll get put out, because that's what happened, right? But the downside is we'll get knocked out the 2 cups early. Would you take that, yes or no?
Well, that's a no-brainer, isn't it? That's obvious. But the point was they won the league with time to spare. Earliest point, it was stressed by Steven Gerrard. We must win this Scottish Cup. The priority is now the Scottish Cup. And they let him down.
We should have been in that draw last night, mate. We should have been in that draw.
And the players let him down. So he will learn off of that. What he said there after the game.
Let's be honest, as much as I love the manager, and that one occasion last night, we can critique the manager, but we can't critique his overall performance. He's been outstanding for us.
No, not at all. I mean, I've been, critical in the past, and I've stood up on the show and said, right, no, I've got it wrong somewhere along the line with him. But at the end of the day, it's not so much whether we critique Gerrard or no. They players let him down. He asked for one last shove. You're in the cup. The main rivals are out of both of them, and we can't take it on. There's a flaw there, whether we like it or not. There is a definite flaw. No Rangers teams of the past, if they've been put in that position, but proper Rangers teams I'm talking about, they would have gone on and won that cup. Definitely. It just wouldn't happen. There must be... Have they got no pride in themselves or something? Because at the end of the day, how they can look themselves in the mirror after putting in a performance like that on Sunday, that scunners me. It totally does. But we've got to get over it. We can't change it, so we can mump the gums as much as we want. They ain't going to change it. It's just, it really, really hurts me, there's that. I can't believe that they've gone and done that. Like, you could say, right, once it's a one-off. No, it's twice. They've done it twice this season when that mob's not even been in it. That's unforgivable for me as a Rangers fan. You know what I mean? But we all differ. We've got what we had to do. Come, the last game against the Sheep, we're getting a trophy. We've not seen that for a lot of years. So we have to go forward. And he has to build the team. As I said, after the last 10, Jock Wallace changed the team, and then look what went on after that. So hopefully it runs like that.
Remember, mate, I seen Jock Wallace's team getting beat 5-1 in a semi-final.
Yeah, against Aberdeen. Yeah, I was there.
Aye.
Yeah.
We've seen... I'm trying to think. Jock Wallace's team didn't win a thing in between two trebles.
That's right, they did. Nothing. Bad season in between. Aye, but he had players that would have gone down fighting. These players didn't go down fighting there. They didn't even put the fight up to go down fighting there on Sunday. That's the difference.
We didn't play well, Andy. I can't dress it up. We didn't play well. We can pick the bones out of anything, but Bridgeman, and you come, mate. We just didn't play well.
No, we did not play well, and that's the truth. In fact, it was parts of the game we seemed to be quite poor. And of course, the crazy thing about Rangers and the shall we say the great results for other teams nearly always happens in the last few minutes of the game against us, where for some reason or other we seem to be unable to do anything against these teams. And it's been happening. As I say, it's been happening even under Warburton. It was happening. You know, we're 3-1 up against somebody, or 2-1 up, and then they're going to beat 3-2 in the last couple of minutes of the game. I think Falkirk did it to us one time. Just unbelievable stuff, you know. Just unbelievable. One of them was 4-3. We're up 3-0 and it's 4-3, something like that anyway. So we've got a history of that, and we don't seem to be able to move it. Even Stephen Gerrard seems unable to move this. It must be down. It's got to be the players. It's just got to be the players, and we have to get that. I don't know what kind of attitude it's got. Maybe it's a bad attitude we've got. I don't know. Somewhere along the line, the manager and the coaches will work it out. I'm quite sure they will get it sorted, because it's really, really disappointing. It's a poor and disappointing result against St Mirren, and a very, very poor result against St Johnstone. So the two Saints teams not beat us, but cost us big style. They did beat us, what am I talking about? They did. Of course they did. So there you go. That's where I feel, and that's the only thing I'm quite happy with my club, and the team's going to be great for us, and we're going to beat Celtic at the weekend, and we're going on to be undefeated in the league. That's the way I feel. That's what I want.
So we just have to move on, Andy. We have to put on my big boy pants and move on.
Oh, definitely. Listen, once a better, always a better. We'll get over it. You know, it's just annoying at the time, right enough. You know,
maybe about Christmas.
No, we'll get on by that. When we see that trophy go up and a lot of guys out, which I'm pretty sure they will, but we'll have the same scenes, maybe even a wee bit bigger, you know, come the last game of the season. But hopefully we don't just fade away now and whimper out. We must win these 3 games and just show them that, you know, for some apparent reason we can't get our head around the cup games, but, you know, we've been solid in the league all year. Let's make sure we keep it there right till the end of the season now. No better incentive to get up there on Sunday, is it? Let's get out there and spank them again. But let's give them a real spanking. You know, let them know who we are. You know, that's what I'm looking for.
I don't know. You know? I don't know for teams. I don't know for teams gone, mate. I don't know for chop or bolt, mate. Honestly.
You know, I think that myself. I said that to Shums last night. I said it to Alec. I said last night we could conceivably lose all 3 of these games. You know,
don't think we will. But
it is a worry because they've no kicked the ball since we won the league.
The problem is we've ended up with guys playing south side. You want to come in with us before we go to the tune, mate? The burden, I know he can play every week and he's fit and he plays every week and he's a 7 out of 10 every week, Stephen Davis, but we've put some burden on him. We've not been able to take Kamara out of the team. Aribo's been left, right, up, down, up, back, all different positions. Yeah, Kent, the workload that he's had today, because he puts a lot of work into games, and maybe it's just took its toll. Southside?
I think the majority of the players that you're talking about were playing every week. You know, we were playing 3 games a week for the start of the season, right through. And it has probably took the toll on them. Joe Aribo moved about the park. We're light in the midfield. We're missing Ryan Jack, and Scott Yarfield probably fit and playing well. We've missed day 2. So we've had to stick with Stephen Davis, and he's been playing well, but it's a heavy load. We've played players slightly out of position at times, and they've been off for him. And since we've won the league, I've heard loads of managers talking about it. It seems to be that when you win the league, you slightly drop off a wee bit, and we've won it that early. But we are a professional team, and he's got his run professional, Stevie Gerrard, and I did think we'd have had a go at the cup. But that apart, I just think it's the players do look a bit tired. Maybe it's time to change a few of them. see, at the end of the day, there's only 3 league games left. So he either looks at it and thinks, right, they can get to the end, or I need to refresh it again with certain players. And if it means bringing in a Scott Wright or whoever else that he's choosing in it, to start or play, then that's what he'll have to do if it needs to freshen the team a bit or Defoe.
I know we're disappointed in when we lost the games, Andy, the quarter-final of both cups, pretty much, yeah. Mm-hmm. But if I put it to you this way, we've had 3 defeats in 53 games, mate.
Well, I would be absolutely stupid to go against that, wouldn't I? You know, but it's
when
we've lost. It's the timing of when they've done it,
exactly.
And their attitude in the games when they've lost, and that's the thing that worries me. And that's an old feeling that we've got in the club.
And maybe, I'm sorry we missed you there. You broke away.
But I totally get that, but it's the timing of when we've done that, and also the other thing is you can't keep failing. You learn, don't you? You know, if you make the mistake at a certain juncture in your life and you keep doing it, you know, you might get away with it for weeks and weeks, and all of a sudden you do it, and then it comes along again 6 months down the line, you do it again, and then you do it again. You say to yourself, "Hang on, I'm doing something wrong here. I've got to change my attitude, or I've got to change how I'm going to counteract it and make sure it don't happen again." You can't not say it's not good. It's a game of football. You can lose any game of football. I get all that. It's just what bothers me. It's the mentality of some of them to not want to go on. That could have been an absolutely fantastic time for a new team, a new era to start with a double. What a way to come back after all the pain we've had. And that is the thing that really hurts me and still hurts me. And it hurt me for a while. You know, it's just one of those things. But look, I could sit here a month all night to you. It's not going to change anything. We've got to get on with it now.
Do you feel better for getting off your chest?
No, but I feel better if I had half a bottle of vodka in front of me. Like that Pepsi Max is no good.
Listen, Bridge, me and Southside have not made any mistakes in life. What's it like? What do you do when you make a mistake? You go on a different road. What's that like, Bridge, man?
He's fell off his chair.
He's raging, by the way, because the Copeland Road's getting sponsored. He thought I could have got my flat sponsored.
Aye.
Shockers, a lot of you. Shockers. I nearly had a heart attack when you said that. Shocking.
Right, okay. Great points, Andy. I mean, we're not trying to bum them up and say that we didn't. It was a bad performance. You know, we're trying to be honest in our reflections, mate. Yeah.
Yeah, well, you can't do that. Like you've just got to be honest. Like I love Rangers to death, like everyone does, right? And we hurt. You know, I mean, sometimes it's pretty hard to separate Rangers from your own family life. You know what I mean? It's just I'll try to say, I love you. It's the same, but just in different ways. That don't go down well a lot of times, but she knows after all these years that's the nature of the beast. You know, and we all feel the same. We just hurt, but we'll be back. You know, what we've got coming in front of us, I'm pretty sure. After what he said there the other night, he was as hurt as us was Gerrard, and he'll do something about it.
I just hope you love your wife in a different way for the way you love David Dodge, yeah?
Oh, David Dodge, the elephant man, aye. Like, he actually puts me in mind of chins as David Dodge, I'll tell you, Alec.
Wow. David Dodge is handsome compared to Chins, isn't he?
Oh, Jesus Christ almighty. You can see him coming round every corner, you know, Alex. Get that many chins. I've
got a photo of him, keeps the wings away from it. I put it on a barbecue so nobody gets near it when it's on, you know what I mean?
He's a good man, right, enough. He's a good man.
Get yourself some mute. We're going to have a tune.
There's a pub in Green Street where all good proddies you will meet. So come down here and together we'll have a jab. A welcome there you will receive, so good that you won't want to leave. A fine wee pub is Saltcoat's Mermaid Bar. You'll hear the sash and Derry's walls, just like in your own wee orange halls. The banter here you will enjoy as long as you're a proddy boy. A good time in the Mermaid is had by one and all. We all support the Queen and Crown. The prices here are the best in town. The bar staff, they are one terrific crew. Everyone laughing, full of cheer. It's one tremendous atmosphere. Singing to support the red, white and blue. You'll hear the sash and Derry's walls, just like in your own wee orange halls. The banter here you will enjoy as long as you're a proddy boy. A good time in the Mermaid is had by one and all. It's nice to come to the Mermaid bar when Rangers are playing at Ibrox Park. You'll forget your worries and all your cares, singing songs against the Thames before you watch the Rangers win. For everyone here supports the Teddy Bears. You'll hear the sash and Derry's walls, just like in your own wee orange halls. The banter here you will enjoy as long as you're a proddy boy. A good time in the Mermaid is had by one and all. If you are up from Belfast town, Tyrone, Fermanagh or County Down, Armagh, Antrim or London, Derry shores, the Mermaid is the place for you, so come and have a drink or two. Next time in Saltcoats you'll want to come back for more. You'll hear the sash and Derry's walls, just like in your own wee orange halls. The banter here you will enjoy as long as you're a proddy boy. A good time in the Mermaid is had by one and all. You'll hear the sash and Derry's walls, just like in your own wee orange halls. The banter here you will enjoy as long as you're a proddy boy. A good time in the Mermaid is had by one and all. A good time in the Mermaid is had by one and all. A good time in the Mermaid is had by one and all.
Why don't you give us a call on 0141 356 1972. It's your show, it's your platform. Let's hear from you.
Hello.
Hello.
Hello, William. Evening, William. How you doing, mate?
Hi there.
How you doing, mate? What's on your mind? What's on your mind?
I was listening. I've been listening to the show for about the last 5 months.
All right, thanks very much.
I listened to other phone-ins, but I felt they were meant to be for everybody. I felt they were biased against Rangers. So right. I had to get away from that, and I looked for some Rangers, found this Rangers radio, and I've been listening for the last 5 months, and I've never missed a night in the last 5 months. I think it's great.
What medication you on, William?
Deadly tea. At the moment, that is just at the moment.
Welcome to the show, William. Welcome to the show.
Hello, Bridge. You're the man. Bridge, you're the man. Last night, I was listening to you last night, and I was involved in refereeing for years.
Oh dear,
after
Bridges,
that,
Bridges away.
Was he?
No, I'm here, pal. Don't worry. You carry on.
I was involved in refereeing for a lot of years down in Ayrshire. I worked with Johnny Hubbard for about 10 years. I knew him when he was a boy because he ran the 5-a-sides down in Ayrshire. And when he heard I was refereeing, he asked me to come and referee for him at his 5-a-sides. So I was with him for about 10 years. And I thought it was great when you mentioned him in the Legends. Because he was a great ambassador for Rangers.
Yeah.
He really was. And he was one of the finest human beings I've ever met. You know, 10 years, I was with him like 5 nights a week. Never fell out with him once. Never a bad word, nothing. He was always a good talk about the Rangers games and that. And he was so knowledgeable.
And you see him with a ball at his feet at 70-odd-year-old. What a player. Still even at 70-odd-year-old. What a player. But the reason I've called is, last night I was listening, and I think you absolutely nailed it with the referee. The referee on Sunday was diabolical. Absolutely diabolical.
Do you think it was a red card, William? In your opinion?
Absolutely. That was the first one. I mean, he let Witherspoon away with that tackle, and that could have caused another serious injury. Because some teams, they know when they're going to get away with it, they'll just keep doing it until the referee stops them. And they could have, to be fair, they could have had 3 players sent off. But they totally mugged that referee. They kept pushing and pulling. They kept kicking. They kept leaving their foot in at a tackle. The referee looked like a complete novice. He let them away with just all these dirty tricks. And then you've got the player up front trying to stop McGregor for getting the quick release of the ball. That's a mandatory yellow card right away.
Yeah, it should have been a bit, yeah.
And the boy McCann that is trying to pull the shorts off Aribo, that's a mandatory yellow card right away. There's no argument. That's a yellow card. I couldn't believe he let him away with that. I was so frustrated after the game Sunday. My head was absolutely bursting. I couldn't sleep Sunday night. Could not sleep. So frustrated. I mean, if you get beat fair and square, you get beat fair and square. And okay, we didn't play the best we could play. I was a wee bit worried when I heard the team getting announced.
What did you?
Hadji, for me, no. He's no up to it for the Scottish football. Hadji's not a player that can roll up his sleeves when you're under pressure. He can do the fancy stuff. You know, in the European. He's more suited to the European. I think Roof's probably the same. But these are all guys that you need in the trenches with you. They're no good when you're in the trenches and you're fighting for your life.
Well said, William. Well said, mate.
Absolutely no good.
Yeah,
and I thought, see, if you look at Sunday's game, you look at last Wednesday's game, and you look at the St Mirren game, the 3 referees were diabolical. Absolutely diabolical.
Actually, through the referees.
Go back and look at the incidents in these 3 games. The referees were terrible. And that, I mean, that starts to go through the Rangers team, that starts to go through their minds. It doesn't matter what we do here, he's just going to let them push, pull, kick, leave their foot in the tackle, you know. All this, it's actually cheating, he's just going to let them cheat. And the tackle on Hadji was a shocker. Witherspoon's tackle. Absolute shocker. I really thought he was going to get his leg broken.
You know, he's pretty cute, mate. He's cute, Hadji. He was up there, but seen it coming, but I thought it could have been a red card. I did, and I don't think, I mean, me and Bridge sit in different camps. Bridge was involved with referees for years. He's not coming in here. But Southside, I thought it was a bad tackle on Hadji, but I still look back, if Kamara puts the ball in the back of the net for about 7 yards, we win the game.
That's right.
Aye.
Kamara, as somebody said, it's absolutely right. Kamara, since the racial problem, he's not the player he was. I think it's affected him. Whether he's not sleeping right, or he's not training right, or something, he's off his game. He's definitely off his game.
And you come Southside, and then we'll bring Bridge in.
Aye, William, you speak a lot of sense, pal. And it's good to hear you've found the show and enjoyed it, pal. Like you say, I thought the McCann one, I think it was McCann that pulled Aribo's shorts. I was surprised that didn't get a booking, you know, and the tackle as well. I mean, if that had been a Rangers player, so that had been Ryan Jack or somebody like putting a tackle on like that, or an Alfie, or a Roof even, just because of the tackle where he's been red carded before, he'd have walked, you know.
That's right, that's exactly right, and that changes the game.
Aye, I said that earlier when I was talking about the game. I mean, we didn't turn up, right? We were shocking, but we didn't see the game out. But I did say earlier that they were lucky to finish the game with 11 men before the 90 minutes, you know.
Absolutely.
And there's been a few bad decisions against us this season, and referees in general. I don't think they're... I mean, it's a hard job, mate. I'll give them that. It is a hard job.
It is difficult.
Football's quick now. Things go at a lot of speed. Players are going down in the box sometimes easily. And it is a hard for them. I mean, you look at Martin Boyle. Was it Boyle who dived a couple of weeks ago against us, wasn't it? Aye. You know, he initiated it, didn't he? He wasn't getting a penalty, you know. But the ref's got to make that decision, you know. But aye, some of the decisions, like you said on Sunday, were terrible, and there should have been a lot more bookings, and it would have led to red cards. But Aye, I agree with you, mate. 100% what you say.
See if you look over the season. Alan Muir was the referee on Sunday. If you look over the season, he'll hardly have done a Rangers game all season. Same with that Ewan Anderson we had last Wednesday. And the boy that we had against St Mirren when they beat us in the cup, he was the fourth official. He had to step in because the referee got injured. I've never seen him before, never heard of him. And that was probably the first game he'd done all season with two Premier League games, two Premier League teams. You know, that was probably his first Premier game.
They'll just be.
It was a cup game.
Well, they'll just be Scottish League referees then. They're no FIFA, you know, they're the Scottish League referees.
Well, if the FIFA, they'll have the FIFA badge on, but...
Aye, I never noticed on Sunday, but I don't think that Muir's a FIFA, is he?
No, I don't think so. He's been about for quite a while, but he's no one you'll see regularly, I don't think, in the Premier League. I'd like to know how many Rangers games he's done this season. I don't think I've seen him doing a Rangers game this season in the Premier League. But I just think, from a refereeing point of view, I was so frustrated because he was diabolical. He just let them, all this pushing, pulling, kicking, leaving the foot in the tackle. You know.
Mm-hmm. Yes, can I come in, William? Can I come in on that?
Yes.
Well, Bridge, if you're going to come in about referees, I'm going to go because I'm up for what I'm on.
I'm going to agree with William. Surprise, surprise. I agree with the statement you made about the last three referees, very poor referees, and they don't get very many games in the Premier League. In fact, if they get, I don't know if they get any until we'll just stick someone in there. That'll be a bit of a runner, and these clubs will just frighten the life out of the referees, and he'll just back down and give them everything they want, and that's what's happened to it. You're right,
That's it.
Exactly right.
I was sitting listening last night, Bridge, and you nailed it. You absolutely nailed it.
The right back of theirs kept running in. He just kept running and bumping into people, just straight in.
That's right.
No shouldering, straight into them. And one of them went right over the ball and done Zungu. What's that about? What is that about?
That's right, that, in the St Mirren game.
That's right, yeah.
It was a tackle on Zungu, and then I think it was Roof. He get pulled up for the exact same tackle and get pulled up in front of the SFA for the exact same thing.
You know, I mean, look, we get two players booked the other night there, and I would never have booking. It was just ordinary free kicks, nothing much.
Because when Morales, they're trying to antagonise him. It's what they call inflammatory behaviour. They're trying to get him pulled in and get him sent off. That's what they're trying to do. And if you're a half decent referee, you can see that, and you'll just go and you'll say, "I see what you're trying to do. Pack it in, or you go in the book, or you go in the house." You know. You just deal with it right. You nail it right there and then. And he just never did nail it.
No,
he just let them do it all through the game.
And
I was so frustrated.
As a sort of an elderly Rangers fan, right? I am absolutely gutted that our club can't get in to play their own game of football, their own brand of football.
Correct.
Because they're getting kicked off their park. And that allows them, they're stopping the game. Every time we start to go a wee bit, now, obviously, I'm not doing it all the time because we get through and get chances. But you know what I mean? It looks like each time we go up there, they're going to do everything they can to stop the flow of the play and then just commit the most dire fouls and get away with it and laugh at us. They just laugh at us. That's what they do.
But this is what I think happened to Ryan Kent, because I think sometimes he gets the ball, he looks up and there's 10 men in front of him. And he gets so disillusioned because he likes to play football.
Absolutely.
I think his head goes down because he's a young player. With young players, their head goes down easy. And he looks up, and every time he's got 10 defenders. There's so many teams doing that against us now.
A couple of questions for you, William, that we've been asked to ask you. Well, first of all, where do you listen to the show? Do you listen to YouTube, Facebook, or on the
YouTube?
YouTube, all right. Thanks very much for that, mate. And also, we've been sent a question for you. In your refereeing capacity, did you think that Griffiths dived in the last Old Firm game? What was your view on that?
I think he did. Yeah, he went down very easily.
And jumped
way too easy. He's streetwise. He knew exactly what he was doing. Absolutely.
He's like a swan. He was like a giant swan.
If that had been in his own penalty area, he'd have stayed on his feet. you know what I mean? He wouldn't want to be lying on the ground with Rangers in his penalty area. He could have stayed on his feet. He went down like a dying swan. Like a shot do, as they say.
A shot do, aye.
Aye.
Cheers for hearing that one.
Like a Saturday coupon. Went down like a Saturday coupon.
Oh, a Saturday coupon. That's a famous one, that one, isn't
it? I don't know if any of you watched the Blues Brothers. Monday night's episode of the Blues Brothers. I watched it earlier on. Ian Durant.
Derek Ferguson and Ian Durant.
Aye.
Well, I think you're going to talk about the film there.
Ian Durant sat down there with his head. He was sitting with his head down. He could hardly talk. He was so disgusted, so frustrated, and so gutted, like we all are, about Sunday. You know, he really was so upset about it. Derek Ferguson said he never even watched the penalties. He just knew that was his.
Aye, because you were so gutted when the ball went in the back of the net. I get it.
Aye.
But it was a big... we lost a stupid goal. There's loads of mistakes in the goal, William. But,
it was a nightmare. Nightmare.
But over the piece, mate, we've got to be careful. I think we said earlier on when Andy, I don't know if Andy's still there. Sorry, Andy.
I'm still here. I'll carry on. I'm interested.
Sorry, we were talking to Andy earlier on and we were saying that 53 games we've played this season. We've lost 3, one to St Mirren, one to St Johnstone, and one to the Czechoslovakians, you know.
Mm-hmm.
The team's got their main objective. Yeah, but the St Mirren game, gutted on Sunday. Terrible. We never played well. And accept your points about the referee. I see it slightly different. I think we should be still good enough to see after Johnston.
Absolutely.
You know.
I mean, I could talk about the players. As I said, Hadji, I'd never have played him. I mean, I thought he learned his lesson for the St Mirren game. I thought he picked the wrong team against St Mirren. As soon as I heard the team, I thought, oh no. Was
it just Bassett? Was it just Hadji? Who would you have played then?
I wouldn't have played Hadji. I wouldn't have played Roof. I'd have kept Morelos on. Morelos, a goal scorer. He was starting to get to them. He had his chances. And I think he's much more a goal scorer than Roof. Itten in the bench. See, Itten to me, he's a boy that can run all day, but he's not quick. He thinks slowly and he runs slowly compared to likes of Morelos. If you look at him, he's much slower than Morelos or even Scott Wright. I've been impressed with him.
See, I just asked the threes then. See, because I've listened, right, and I've watched them, and I've thought about it. And people say Itten's not got much pace or that, and I heard you saying that it's Morelos. Do you actually think Morelos is quick?
I think he reads the game much quicker.
Aye.
He might not be physically the quickest. He reads the game, and he's learning. I think he's learning a lot from Defoe. I think Defoe's working with him. Because you can see that he improves and he improves and he improves. And I think if you had Defoe's brain and Morelos' body, or maybe Defoe's brain and Scott Wright's body, what a player you'd have.
If you could get Defoe's finishing in him.
Oh, aye.
Alfie, you know, but
great finisher.
I think his game awareness came a lot better up front, like with Defoe. But I don't
make a run here, make a run there.
And I know he's physical, right? He's right physical. When players are up against him, he can shake you off. But I don't really think he's that quick, or like 5-10 yards really with pace as a striker. I mean, I don't see that in him. Like,
no, but I think he reads the game well,
I agree with that. I just wanted to ask if he's actually thought, is he blessed with a bit of pace, you know? Or
I don't think he's that slow.
No, he's no visibly slow.
I don't think he's that slow, but he's not the fastest person in the whole world, of course, you know. Thought I had to say that there. Apologies.
No, that's all right. No, good points.
And I don't like to see Aribo in the midfield. I like to see him up front. Because he's a player that can take a man on and either score or set a goal up. And if you stick in the midfield, he's got 2 rows of defenders to go through. You know, because they're playing with 2 rows of defenders.
I think Joe Aribo, I know he had a bit of criticism last night. I watched it. He started on the left-hand side. He'd moved from outside right to, if you like, on the game before. Come on as sub, played at the left side of midfield for the last few minutes on Wednesday, and then started on the left side of midfield. After 20 minutes, we swapped him and Kamara round. because we couldn't keep the ball. I don't see how that was going to make any difference swapping the two in, but we done it, you know. And I think what happened to me and my thought, I'll go to Andy, is the midfield boys. It might have just caught up with us because they've dragged us through and they've worked hard for us, because that 4-3-3, mate, they've got to do some graft, Andy.
Yeah, I totally agree with you there. But on the two boys around Davis at the moment, I've got another theory as well. I said it weeks ago there that I thought that if we were going to be going with that midfield going forth to the end of the season, we would struggle, because I don't think they complement Davis. Davis is, I think he's too savvy for him, and the young boys they slip up at times, don't they? I mean, the Aribo one should never be played anywhere. He should be played up top. That's where he does his damage. He's non-effective at all at the back or around about the midfield. He needs to be up playing off for Kent and Morales. Yeah. The big problem is we miss the physicality of Jack. You know, we probably wouldn't have had these problems, like, but
we missed Scotty Arfield at the weekend, mate.
Yeah, Scotty Arfield definitely. Although he's not been that good just lately, but he would have definitely caused a difference there in the team there on Sunday. Bad blow that was when we lost him. The Adji one, well, I've said it all. I get nothing against the boy, right enough, but Scottish football, you can see, unless he really turns it around, fills out a wee bit, gets his head around the physicality of Scotland, you might as well get rid of him, because it's not going to happen for him. Scottish football's too physical.
I've always been a big fan of Hadji's, you know.
I know, yeah. I like Kenny Miller. You're the same as me. Aye.
And I can see your nose growing so rapidly, boy.
Oh dear. Listen, I think the boy's got undoubted ability, but he's not a south side. He's not a wide right player, is he? Come on, let's be honest.
No, he's no. He's probably in and about behind the striker, sort of trying to go on the ball, and he's got great vision, you know. But where we're playing him, probably similar to Joe Aribo. See, to be honest, Joe Aribo's probably a true position, isn't he? Sort of stuck out right, a forward three. He's no deep in the midfield. He's probably similar. You want him sort of in behind or running just round about there, picking the ball up, and then he'll create, can take men on, can go forward, and hopefully he'll be shooting more in the chances. The midfield is, we've had Davis as a mainstay with Kamara, and Kamara's went off a batter for him. And if you look at it in the last few weeks, we've not been playing great. And Sunday, I mean, even looking at Scott Wright, come on, everybody's been on raving about him, and I kept trying to say it was only Cove Rangers he was playing against. He came on Sunday, he done one bit of brilliance, and it would have been an amazing goal. I don't know, he didn't seem to go on the ball much after that. Aribo, in and out the game. Hadji, very little. You know, you could get through the team. Kamara never played well. So there's loads there that weren't functioning. Roof, come on, done very little. So, you know, and what the gentleman was saying earlier, I can't remember your name, mate, just slipped me. William, is it?
William.
Aye, William, like you were saying earlier about Kent. He was running, taking players with him. Sometimes he'd stop the ball and there's 3 and 4 in front of him. He's looking for a runner. He sort of play the ball into to start something. So it was all stop-start, and we just weren't at the races on Sunday. And I think it could be a bit of players being a bit tired, because we've had to play right through that European campaign against decent sides, quality teams. Know that we're playing in the SPL and then go again. And I mean, we've got to take our hats after them. We're undefeated still in the league, and we've hardly conceded any goals. So, you know, I mean, we'll always be critical of Rangers, you know, even when we win. But overall, we've got to take our hats after the guys that have got us a league. And it's only a disappointment that we've not fulfilled it, Andy, to go and lift that Scottish Cup, mate. And I'm as disappointed as you, pal.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you see the one in the Kamara one, that kind of worries me and all, because you know his ability right enough, but we know what the guy did to him. But in football, he's going to get a lot worse than that. The mentality or the heart in him worries me. If he's going to let that worry him, you know, I've been called all sorts in my life. How can you give a rat's what anybody thinks or says about me? You just get on with it, don't you? You know?
Yeah.
So that worries me. That totally worries me that he can just drop out of the games like that for that guy having a go at him. Because, you know, he shouldn't be in the game. You know, it's a so-called admin's game, isn't it? Not these days. They're all snowflakes, the majority of them, let's be honest. But, You know, I mean, you're going to get worse than that. You shouldn't let yourself go down like that. You know, just get up and want to prove yourself.
I think we're assuming that's what's done it. I mean, it just could have been that he's like anybody else, he's run out of steam. And obviously, we're putting two together and taking it back to that. But he hasn't played great since. He was okay last week in the victory at home in the last round of the Cup. He was okay on Sunday without being, you know, he wasn't 8 or 9 out of 10, Bridgeman. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I think all the players now are just waiting for the end of the season, to be honest. There's 3 games to go. Let's get them over and done with. And they're dead rubbers, really, isn't it? I mean, as far as winning the league. So the only challenge we've got is, can we get this league invincible thing, you know? Well, who knows? So if Rangers draw the 3 games, does it matter? Nobody will be too bothered, to be honest. But
no, Bridget does. Bridget does, because at the end of the day, the attitude...
I'm not talking about the fans. I'm talking about the players now. So the fans, everything matters to the fans. Everything. You make your choices, you do this, you do that, and as far as I'm concerned, I want them to get to the end of the season undefeated. That's what I want. And that'll give us a trophy, the league trophy, and an undefeated, and a league undefeated tag. Pretty good, invincible, excellent. That'll do us, because we were crap.
You've got to watch.
The 2 main cup ties we played against St Mirren and against St Johnstone, we weren't very good. That's what I would.
You know, I think we've got to watch. I mean, I think Southside made the point that a lot of managers are saying once you've done, you've achieved your goal, picking teams up is hard. And I get you, Andy, we want to win every game and we're selfish, but we've also got to be realistic. You want to win the league first and foremost. This undefeated would just be a start, which we would like. If you think back to the team that won 9 in a row, Southside, how many games did they lose as soon as the league was finished? Remember you turned up at Ibrox and just the same team.
There's a couple of times we scraped a Scottish Cup final, you know, after winning a league, you know. It's just a disappointment, Andy. But you know what it is? It's because of the way we look at the teams that was left in the competition, in the League Cup and in that Scottish Cup, you know. And that's the most disappointing thing, you know. Anyway, I'm going to ask you a question, Andy. What's the best ground that you've been to? Outside Ibrox, I've seen Rangers play.
You stole my line. I was going to say Ibrox. The best ground I've been to. Jeez, that's a. I used to like going to Hearts, although it wasn't a great place, like, but there was a great atmosphere there. Like, you know, I used to like going to the mini filth as well because we used to gear them at tight. Anywhere that there was a great atmosphere where you were gearing them at. You know, you seem to be on all the kind of grounds. They used to be like, cup tight all the time. You know, the atmosphere was there. Down in England, well, I've been to Goodison when they played. All the English teams, Old Trafford, Aston Villa. That was a tasty day, by the way, but that's for another day. Tottenham, and we went down there. I've been to Leeds. That's key to the ground. And like you asked earlier on there, what I'd like to see if crowds could come back and we get a fair capacity to come down. I'd like to see the Rangers come down to Leeds, obviously where I stay, like, because the last time we were down we couldn't get in. I know Ox did. I live in Leeds and I couldn't get in, and Ox got in, like. But there you go. We'd have for the end around Loyal in Manchester and my dad's that night because they couldn't get in the ground. That was a good night. But yeah, I'd like to see Rangers come down to Leeds. The Wembley one would be good, especially if we could take about 50,000, 60,000 down there. You never know. Now that we've won the league, you know, the filth got invited into it. Somebody might want to take us into one of these Wembley tournaments to do in good time. So we might get the Wembley. You know, that would be good. I've been to majority of them in Scotland, but there's only one ground for me that's Ibrox, like, you know. Yeah, down. Well, I'm going to be honest. You stay up the way I see it. None of them interest me unless it's Rangers. You know what I mean? I don't really. You know, if they were fantastic, I know they're not as far as I'm concerned. It's all about the Rangers and Ibrox Park, you know. And I can't wait till I get back. Well, I was up there in August, like when I put my dad away, like, but obviously you couldn't get in, so I just took the family up round the gates and had a few pictures and emptied the shop a wee bit and things like that. So, you know, not too bad, you know.
Emptied the shop. That seems to be a familiar theme at the moment. They cast the Stone Boys must be rubbing their hands, but I am sticking with Wembley, mate. I'm sticking with Wembley. Spurs, Fox has come in, he's too shy, he doesn't want to come in tonight. He says that he would like to play in a Spurs tournament and go corporate in the new Spurs ground, mate.
Oh, that's a good one. That's a good one.
Aye.
That would be a joy, wouldn't it? That would be an absolute joy doing that, yeah. Well said, Foxy.
Especially in one of them, because the Rangers would take, you could guarantee would take 30 or 40,000 down there if it was in the right time.
I think there are 10, probably 40,000 live there at the moment.
We could arrange it, but you don't do that walk, the skywalk that Spurs have got on the roof. Bridgeman, you could lead us off.
Oh, I'm into that.
I've been
get Stevie with a big drum right at the front of it and a few flutes at the back. Well, yeah, a bit of a day there, wouldn't it?
And GFK with a stick. Aye, absolutely.
Aye, definitely. Oh, that would be great, wouldn't it?
We could have a wee sticks at the side like the majorettes south side.
Majorettes.
What about you, William? Have you been to a ground that you thought was quite good when seen the Rangers, or a ground that you'd like to see us play in?
Well, I'd like to see us playing in New Wembley, but Tynecastle's a great atmosphere. As somebody said it's a great atmosphere. I haven't been to. I've not. My son, he's been to quite a few of the away European games, and I have not really been to any of them. But I love the atmosphere at Ibrox when it's full. You know, big game. It's magic, and you can sometimes feel the stands shaking. You know, you really can feel it trembling. The atmosphere, it's just electric.
Well, the home game against Braga that night, wasn't it? Unbelievable.
Oh,
we come back to that down.
The place is just shaking. You know?
Aye.
Would that in this journey, that particular game, would that be the top atmosphere in this, if you like, this journey? Would that be up there for you, Southside?
The atmosphere at Ibrox.
Aye.
And the Ibrox. Aye, probably, just because the way we come back, you know. Aye, probably off the top of my head now, mate. Just to give me another wee bit to think, but aye, I think possibly that one, mate.
All right. Obviously, the story broke the day about sponsorships for the two stands. It looks as if it's in the press as well. Bywave Go, yeah? I don't know if I pronounced that right, yeah? Currently installing technology to put the firm's logo above the Broom Lawn and Copeland Road stands. Obviously, it's for the flight paths. Yeah, good idea. Brentford have done it for years. Doesn't affect the stadium. None of us will see it, will we? So the roof. You know, you might see it for your house bridge, for the penthouse, but none of the rest of us will see it.
Nice one. That's great.
You'll check it out. Fridge, you'll see it with your telescope, won't you?
No,
there's a photograph doing the round things in, what do you call it? Follow. Maybe somebody snatched it from Twitter, and it's showing that they've taken all the top naming of the stand. You know, the parts where the name of the stand is.
Right.
The top there. And it's now got Biowave G in it. So that's a company, I take it.
It's a good revenue stream, isn't it? You know, it's particularly in this time of the pandemic, the fact that we're still able to get revenue and to make up for the shortfall. I know people have got good traditions, but well, does it matter? Really?
Well, I'm looking at this and I'm saying I hope they're not going to take for instance, the names. The only one that I think the Biowave one I'm looking at now is actually Broom Lawn Road.
And the Copeland Road.
That one. I hope they don't do the other one and take Sandy Jardin's name away then, you know.
It will always be, well, I don't know.
Of course.
You know, but what revenue streams are revenue streams. I know I'm off our traditions. It makes us special. But talking about special, we'll be joined by another William from Ballymena. No Bellamedina. It's
Ballymena. Not Bellamedina.
Good evening, gentlemen. Aye, it was Ballymena for Spain the other night.
How we doing, William? All right? William?
I'm not too bad, just very deflated and frustrated. I didn't really say too much yesterday, but I seem more agitated today about Sunday than I was yesterday. I think it's just sunk in a bit and just very deflated.
Southside.
Just like us all, William, to be honest, mate, that's the way I think we're all feeling as a support, you know. It's just, that's what I said earlier, mate. When you look at the calibre of what's left in that competition, you know, we should have sailed through that and be in it. So we're all feeling the same, mate. But at the end of the day, the main prize was the league. If you'd asked everybody at the start of the season, what's your main priority? It was the league and hopefully getting to the group stages. Anything after that was a bonus. But two missed opportunities, mate, this season. But we've just got to just carry on, mate, and hopefully it's a learning curve for next season, and hopefully we might just get that treble.
Absolutely. Well, the way I see it is, we'd all been saying, right, when we were down the lower leagues, it was right, we need to get back to where we belong. We achieved that a couple of seasons ago, and we've been where we belong. So obviously the next step was, as you said, and I agree wholeheartedly, at the start of the season, I don't think there's any Rangers fan that wouldn't have said that stopping Terry Monroe and clinching 55 is the priority. But if it wasn't for that, like, take 10 in a row out of the equation, and this was just a normal season, would we be happy? I don't think so, because we're Rangers, we're not Queen's Park Rangers. And like, what happens next year? Next year, if the same thing happens all over again and we get dumped out of cups, are fans just going to say, "Oh, well, sure, we won the league. That was the priority." Before we went down the divisions, we would never have settled for it. And it's understandable, like the journey we've came through.
Can I give you a wee stat, William? A wee stat? Just a couple of questions for you. Did Graham Souness ever win a Scottish Cup as manager?
I'm not going to lie, I honestly don't know.
No, he never. And it took Scott Simon in the first 11 years, the legendary Scott Simon, 11 years to win the Cup. You know, so it's not the first time we've lost a cup tie. The circumstances have browned us off, mate. You're right to be, and we are now, yeah. Would you rather get beat now than losing the final? Fox is asking me to ask you. That's a tough one. On you go, William. Back to you, but it's difficult. We're all gutted for Sunday. Gutted.
I don't really know how to articulate what I want to say, because I'm a wee bit nervous, because obviously I'm a new caller to the show, so I'm just, the nerves are getting the better of me a wee bit, so I apologise if I'm rambling or not making much sense. But
what we're hearing is somebody who was browned off with a performance of a game we should have won, yeah?
Absolutely. Look, I just think we are back to where we belong. Now we need to get back to doing what we should be doing. And look, if we would have went out and get beat, fair enough, but it just wasn't good enough. It was almost gutless. We seemed not happy, but there just seemed to be no fight there or no desire. It was just like very wishy-washy, and we just never got going. And it's that what's hurting me the most, is that we didn't really seem to desire it that much. And I know it doesn't really matter what the other lot say or what pundits say, but this was an opportunity for us to show why we're champions, why we're the best team in Scotland, and to finish the season with champion-esque performances, and to let everybody know that we won the league on merit and on performances, and it wasn't because Celtic were poor, it was because we deserved it. But that's several games now, we just haven't looked as if we've been at the races. And yes, there's a lot of factors to take into that. it's physically and emotionally draining over the course of a season, but we have enough quality in that squad. Look how many international players we have. We have players that have played in massive stadiums, European competitions and all. We have enough of quality there. So I don't know. If I wasn't bald already, I'd be pulling my hair out.
Right, okay. Is that the feeling? Andy feelings? Pull your hair out?
Yeah, well, that's how I've lost mine over the last 10 years. And I had it before it started, but I totally agree with William, 100%, as you know, when I come on the start of the show. It's, as I say, you cannot dress up the fact that they didn't want to nail that team, go through and win that cup, because you'd have won that cup, come off with a double. You've set that the marker down for next season, saying, right, that's just the start of it. Now you're getting it. But it leaves for me. It leaves the season a wee bit disappointing for me now. I totally agree with William. Spot on there, pal.
Thank you. I was just sort of firing words out and hoping something stuck.
No, you're right, William. You're right. You're totally right.
I do that every night.
No, I just think that I don't want to be critical of the team, and I don't want to berate the team, but at the end of the day, like, you can't keep the blue tinted specs on all the time. You have to be honest, and the fans drive the players on, and sometimes you have to hear home truths. Praise where it's due, but we just haven't looked like champions. Like, the last few games I've watched, I know everybody watches different aspects of games. Some people like to watch the more strategic side, and other people like to watch, like the flair and the creativity. But I feel we've got so good at game management and seeing games out at 1-0, 2-0, whatever, that we've had several levels and gears we could have been going up, and it's as though, I don't want to use the word complacent, but it's as if we're just doing enough, and we've almost got into a wee rut in the last several games where we don't really need to push. Like, I felt, on Sunday there, I felt we were almost in game management mode at 0-0. It just looked like a team that was trying to just manage a game that hadn't even been won, or we hadn't even went for it, and we just looked like a team that was trying to manage a game before it had even been conquered, and that just frustrated me no end.
Well said, William. Listen, mate, just to let you know, we're getting a lot of feedback, and people are saying they need to be nervous. You're making some good points, and people are picking up on your points, yeah? Yeah? So your call's coming across loud and clear, and you're making you're making your point very, very well. Southside, look, it's hard to argue. We know where we are, and then I'll bring Bridgeman in it. It's difficult because he's right. We take the tinted glasses off. We never played well. There was nobody. The best player in the park most likely got a 6 for us. That could have been Helander. Could have been our man of the match. And does that not tell you how good we were offensively?
No. Well, William's spot on in what you said and the points that he's made. You make a lot of sense, William, and it's it's generally what we think ourselves. We should have been up for the game, mate. And as Locke said before, I remember we get beat with Hamilton Accies at Ibrox. That was a shock. Hamilton weren't coming to beat us. We were Rangers. We're at home. We're soonest we're flying. And we got beat. It happens in cup ties. And then you move on. I remember going to Easter Road and we get dumped in the final with Rafe Rovers, mate, when we were doing the leagues. We shouldn't have been getting beat with Rafe Rovers because we're Rangers. We want to win. We're brought up and winning.
Against
Aye, and then we've been dumped out cups, and then we're on the crest of a wave because now we've got back to where we should be, and we've won the league this season. We've seen the team do really well. Maybe at times sort of overachieve. Maybe when we look back, maybe this squad has overachieved in certain games. But they've done magnificent for us, and then to see the letdown on Sunday, mate, like you're saying, all the points you've made about seeing the game out and not having the heart and the desire and the will to go and get the goals. We were a wee bit unlucky, and we got punished with poor defending. So you're 100%, mate. But I mean, if you look through what I've just said, cups. We will get put out of cups, mate, and we have been in the past, and it's just a fact. But we should have been in the final, mate, and it's one we should have had in the bag this season, and it's just that disappointing, and that's why we're all so angry, mate.
Absolutely, I think we just had a real chance to set a precedent and like put a platform down that says, look, we didn't just win the league because Celtic were poor. We earned this. And it's not a fluke, and go on and lift more silverware. And look, we've already, like, Ibrox used to be a fortress, and teams were terrified to play us. And then, obviously, with our circumstances, that dissipated. But this year, teams were starting to fear us again. Now, if we would have went on and done the double or the treble, can you imagine what that would have done psychologically, especially to that other lot going into next season? They couldn't argue then that Celtic lost the league and we didn't win it. They would be absolutely terrified, thinking, right, Rangers really are back and they're not just here to take part. And
we're back, all right. You only have to look at the results in Europe. I'll go to the other, William. William, the results in Europe have been outstanding under
amazing.
Stevie G.
Absolutely amazing. We get a chance to play football in Europe. There's none of this 10 behind the ball. We get a chance to play football, and when we get a chance to play football, we're a team. We really are. We really. I know it was said. I'll say it again. We badly missed a Ryan Jack, or even
don't tell Andy to lead. Don't tell Andy to lead that.
We needed a tough tackling midfielder. That's what we needed. We're badly missing a tough tackling midfielder.
We've missed Ryan Jack, yeah. We have missed
him. We have missed him. Look, we just don't know how much. We can miss any player, really. Mm-hmm. That's been a huge gap. They should have replaced him. I mean, he's missed, what do you say, Ox, about nearly 80 games?
He's turned it in games in the last 3 years. You'd be surprised, mate. He has missed a lot of football.
Remember, you said it was 70, and that was a few weeks ago. And they really should have brought a tough tackling midfielder in.
I think he thought Zunga was going to be the man, mate, but obviously it never worked out.
I heard Derek Ferguson say that. He thought that's the type of player he was. But I think he'll be on the bus with Roof and the Hadji.
I don't think we'll see Zunga again. I'll go around the panel. Start with Southside, then go to Bridgeman. Williams raised a good point there. I don't think we'll see Zunga again, do you?
Nah, he's not come in and impressed at all. Really not had much chances, and obviously with the suspension kicking in, I think he was on offer for between 2 and 3 million, so I wouldn't see he's taking that going forward. I think we'll look for somebody else. Not need to be somebody like we're looking for a powerful midfielder, strong in the tackle and can play a bit of football. Probably like somebody like Steven Gerrard. If we could get him cheap.
Aye, get him again. Bridgeman, and then we'll go to Andy.
I think it's a tragedy for Zunga, because he came up here expecting to be able to play and show, and unfortunately he's never been able to do it. And the wee chances he's had, well, he's not actually raised it to the level which was quite sufficient to get into the game properly. And wee knocks, got a lot of wee knocks, and that sort of held him back a bit as well. I just don't think he's a bustling centre half here. He wants to be a really smooth player and make nice passes. And I dare say in some of the games he's got a wee chance. He's made some nice passes, but at the end of the day, he's just not had the ball enough. And that might be down to him, and it might be just down to the club. The way things are, I don't think he'll be here next season.
Yeah, me too. Like you can see that he's not got it. Listen, he's been there long enough, and if they'd have seen out of him in the back room, Stevie Gerrard and that, he'd have had more game time. So there's no chance. My wife's had on him. You know what I mean? So get into, you know what I mean? Let's get on. We want Ian Ferguson type in that midfield.
To be fair, your wife's got a lot to put up with, hasn't she? You know what
I know, but she's still here, Ox. That's the thing, you know. So I keep getting away with murder, like, you know.
That's what happens when you're married to a sex god, mate. She appreciates what she's got.
Well, that's what it is, man. I tell you, she can't keep it that day. As I said to you before, just stop buying your ladies' roses. Jeez, she was trying to kill me that week.
You need to going to pass over. Give us some hints as to how you manage your wife when these problems occur. I just tell her to sit down and do as she's told, and she does. Simple as that, you know. Aye, right. That's another noise we're hearing.
Wait, now. You see that door will be creaking up the stairs. What did you just say there? Right, you know, because you can hear things at 100 paces, I'm telling you.
You'll hear the thud in a minute.
That'll be getting. She'll be saying to me, don't you be buying me any roses, or I'll be going right in another place, I'll tell you. She can hear anything, that lassie. I wouldn't swap her, put it that way. Yeah, there you go.
Mrs. Bridge can hear the grass grow, can't she?
Yeah, and everybody's grass growing.
What was that line she says to you, Bridge? I know you're lying to me because I've seen your lips moving.
That's exactly, yeah. Like a scene for Fools and Horses, you know. How does she know? How does she know when you're lying? I open my mouth. So true, isn't it? So true.
Oh dear. It's great that we can laugh. I'll go to William for Kilmarnock and then William for Bella Medina.
That's a Sunday now, by the way.
Bridge, you know, the only thing you can say, you know, at the end of the day, it's midnight.
That's the truth. That's the truth. And that's one of the things. Absolutely, pal. Well done. And in the beginning of the day, it's midnight. Well said, pal. Well said.
Well, by the way, William's come on for Ballymena, and I think this is the second time or the third time you're on, William. Great call, but your first time calling out, excellent, eh? Southside, eh?
William. It's great to hear William back on, mate, because I think he had been on before, like you said, when Fox got the place wrong. So, William, it's been great to hear you on the night, pal, and some great points, you know. You don't need to be shy about You don't need to be shy about coming on here, pal. We're just the same as you, mate. We're just all Rangers supporters, and we just come on and give our opinion, and we love the Rangers, mate, and that's what the show is about, you know.
I think it's just because I would phone into another Rangers platform, and obviously I know that the dynamic and how it works, but because like I'm a very new listener and to this particular platform, I'm obviously just a wee bit nervous trying to suss out, you know, the dynamic and stuff. I was always nervous about when to talk because I didn't want to talk over the top of anybody and seem rude, but I didn't want to sit and not speak. Maybe I should be speaking Miller, but I'm finding my feet here now. So
we're not for profit apart from Bridge. He's a mega star, you know.
It's a thrill to be let boy coming on and enjoying the chat. I hope you are enjoying it, William. I hope you are.
Oh, very much, yeah. Alex Kelly had recommended it to me, and he says give it a wee go. He says great group of guys, good banter, and a very, very good Rangers station. So
as a prize to you, William, I'll get you a signed photograph, Alex Kelly. That'll be one for the match.
A canvas, more like a canvas.
Very good. Brilliant,
Poor Alex is getting it tight tonight, isn't he, Andy?
He tries it on with me. He keeps reckoning he keeps doing me right enough. I don't know what world he lives in, I'll be honest with you, but he can make white flags, he can make about 10 white suits with him, man, but he keeps coming back at me, like, you know.
He's all right there, Alex.
He's good as Alex. He's just top notch.
I'll put the other William before we go to Bridgeman. William, I hope William for Kilmarnock. I hope you've enjoyed it tonight, mate. Thanks for taking the time to phone and see the Rangers radio, mate.
I've loved it. I said I tuned in 5 months ago, and I've tuned in every single night. Cha cha cha.
Cha cha cha.
I've loved it that much. I've never missed a night.
William, you don't sound like a Kilmarnock person.
No, I'm an airman.
Yeah,
I'm in Ayrshire, but I'm not in Kilmarnock. Oh no.
Right, okay.
Well, see that for Fox's geography. Let me see.
Obviously, my phone number's a Kilmarnock code, but I'm not
Right,
in Kilmarnock.
okay, that's what he's done.
I wouldn't live there rent free.
All right, okay.
By the way, that's a shocking thing to say about one of our good cities. We pumped out the cup last night as well.
I watched that. They got a penalty for nothing. Did you see that?
I did. It's
Penalty,
only been used
never a penalty.
Well, gentlemen, Southside, we've reached that time of evening. A couple of words for you, Southside, before the bridge.
Hey, mate, I thoroughly enjoyed it, pal. And it was good to be back on and get some good chat. And it's also good to hear the two Williams on. It's good to hear them phoning up as well and joining into the conversation and enjoying the show. So I'd just like to thank you, mate, for inviting us on again. And I hope all the listeners out there enjoyed the show tonight.
What about you, Bridgeman?
Oh, what can I say? A really, really good night. Smashing, good entertainment. Well done. Well done to Yorkshire. And, of course, Southside being on. A good panellist, a tremendous panellist. And, of course, I must say, big shout-out to Big Stevie for the drum. A great cause, pal. So, can I just say to all the Rangers fans all over the world, particularly Rangers fans on here on Rangers Radio, every single one is, please, keep it going for the Rangers, get our chins up, chest out, and away we go. Big game coming up at the weekend. Take it easy for the Rangers. Keep it going.
When you mentioned chins there, Andy thought you were having a go at Alex again. Right, can I thank the two Williams for taking the time to join us. William for Ballymena, great to hear from you again, and William for Ayrshire, great for the first time caller. Great.
Cheers, Ox. Thanks for taking my call.
Yeah, great, mate, and we'll hopefully hear from you soon. Andy, always a pleasure, mate, and obviously it's only Tuesday, mate. You can have a drink tomorrow as we get near the weekend, yeah?
Oh, I think it'll be air on in now, I think. You know, they'll be laughing at everything then. We'll be all right come the weekend, eh?
Thanks to Kim, who joined us at the start of the show, and more importantly, thanks to Big Stevie, who came on and he's got some badges, and we've launched that £3 plus postage and packaging, and all the money raised goes to the Robert Mulholland Memorial Parade to fund that, or to help fund it, part fund it. And Rangers Radio had the pleasure to support that. Listen, thanks for listening. Thanks to Bridge. Thanks to Southside. Thanks to Old School Boy and Fox for doing the technicals. This has been Rangers Radio. We'll be back tomorrow night between 8 and 10. And we'll be joined by Urlinda. Take it away, Old School Boy.
They come from all of Glasgow, they come from near and far, they come from every Highland glen, from here to Lochnacar. They sail from near Belfast to the bonny banks of Clyde. They gather round to Timeless Park and loudly sing with pride. Oh yeah, it's R-E-N-G-E and R-N-S. In case you didn't catch it, friend, I set your mind at rest. Oh yeah, it's R-E-N-G-E and R-N-S. The boys in blue of Ibrox, high the Scotland's very best. Oh yeah, it's R-E-N-G-E and R-N-S. In case you didn't catch a friend, or set your mind at rest. Oh yeah, it's R-E-N-G-E and R-N-S. The boys in blue of Ibrox, high the Scotland's very best. Why, there's Richie Shearer, Probin, John Gregg McKinnon too. There's Baxter, Henderson, George McLean, they proudly wear the blue. There's Miller, Brandon, Wilson, what better could you want? Plus 70,000 Rangers fans that proudly sing this chant. Oh yeah, it's R-E-N-G-E and R-N-S. In case you didn't catch it, friend, or set your mind at rest. Oh yeah, it's R-E-N-G-E and R-N-S. The boys in blue, the Ibrox, high the Scotland's very best. Richie Shearer, Probin, John Gregg McKinnon too. There's Baxter, Henderson, George McLean, they proudly wear the blue. There's Miller, Brandon, Wilson, what better could you want? Plus 70,000 Rangers fans that proudly sing this chant. Oh yeah, it's R-E-N-G-E and R-N-S. In case you didn't catch your friend, I'll set your mind at rest. Oh yeah, it's R-E-N-G-E